What if I told you that once upon a time, the entire world spoke just one language? Imagine that for a moment. No miscommunication, no misunderstandings, no cultural barriers. Just perfect unity. But what if that unity became a problem? What if people used it not to honor God, but to defy Him? And what if I told you that because of their pride, something happened that changed human history forever? This is the story of the Tower of Babel, a story of power, ambition, and a divine intervention so great that it left mankind divided, even to this day. Stay with me, because in this video, we're going deep into the incredible truth behind this ancient story. But before we begin, make sure you hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe so you don't miss more powerful Bible stories that will strengthen your faith. Our story begins shortly after a massive, earth-shattering event, the Great Flood. Noah and his family had survived, and as generations passed, the earth was once again filling with people. The descendants of Noah were growing in number, and they all spoke the same language. Imagine that, one world, one speech, one people. Now, if you were living in those days, life would have felt harmonious, maybe even perfect. No misunderstandings, no language barriers, no divisions. Everyone could work together effortlessly. But here's where things take a dangerous turn. Instead of following God's command to spread out and fill the earth, the people had a different idea. They found a vast, fertile land called Shinar, a perfect place to settle. And then, one voice rose among them, a voice that planted a dangerous seed in their hearts. What if? Someone suggested, we build a city so great, so powerful, that no one will ever be able to scatter us. And not just a city, but a tower. A tower so high, it reaches the heavens. A tower that will make us invincible. The idea was exciting. It was bold. It was dangerous. The people were no longer thinking about God. They weren't building this city and tower to honor Him. They were building it for themselves. Their hearts burned with ambition. Their minds were filled with pride. They said, let us make a name for ourselves. They wanted to be famous, powerful, unstoppable. And so, the great work began. The people of Babel made bricks, thousands upon thousands of bricks. Unlike the stones used in ancient times, these bricks were uniform, strong, and easy to stack. They used tar as mortar to hold them together. The city was rising, and at its heart, the tower was growing taller, and taller, and taller. Every day, workers climbed higher, laying brick after brick. The people marveled at their own creation. They were convinced. This tower will be the greatest thing mankind has ever built. This tower will touch the heavens. But what they didn't realize was that their pride was leading them straight to their downfall. The Bible tells us something powerful in Genesis 11 verse 5. It says, "But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building." Think about that for a second. God, who sees everything, chose to personally come down and observe what they were doing. It was as if He wanted to give them one last chance. But when He saw their hearts, filled with arrogance, not humility, He spoke. If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. You see, the issue wasn't just the tower. It was the heart behind it. Mankind had united, not for good, but in rebellion. If they succeeded in this, there would be no limit to their pride, no limit to their defiance against God. And so, God intervened. Suddenly, workers shouted instructions, but no one understood. One man called for bricks, another brought mortar. Panic spread. Arguments erupted. Friends could no longer understand friends. Families could no longer understand each other. Chaos reigned. What had once been a united people, speaking with one voice, was now a nation divided by language. They could no longer work together, no longer build, no longer communicate. And just like that, the great project fell apart. The people abandoned their city. They scattered, just as God had originally commanded. And that mighty tower? It stood there, unfinished, a monument to human pride and rebellion. That place was called Babel, meaning confusion, because it was there that God confused the language of the whole world. And to this day, the division remains. The languages we speak, the cultures we come from, all of it traces back to this moment in history. So, what does this story teach us today? Here are 3 powerful lessons. 1. Pride leads to destruction. Proverbs 16 verse 18 says, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." When we try to exalt ourselves instead of God, we will ultimately fail. 2. God's plans always prevail. The people of Babel tried to resist God's will, but in the end, His purpose stood. Are we building our plans, or walking in His? 3. Unity is powerful, but it must honor God. The people were united, but for the wrong reasons. Imagine what we could achieve if we united in obedience to God, rather than in defiance of Him. My friend, are you building something in your life? Is it for your glory or for God's? The Tower of Babel may be a story from the past, but its lesson is for today. Let's humble ourselves before the Lord and seek His will. If this story blessed you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful Bible stories that will transform your faith. Until next time, stay blessed and keep building, but build for His glory.